All right. Hey, YouTube world, how's it going out there? Justin here again, and we're live streaming. And I got Maddie with Maddie Outdoors and Jesse with Backcountry
What's
Forward
going on, guys
back
and
again.
gals?
Hey guys, say hello to all your fans. I'm pretty sure half of the people who, or more than half the people who watched, were straight from your guys' channel. So, and I appreciated meeting everybody, and I think a lot came over and said hello. So I think yeah, it was good to see all the community of people from your different channels, my channel, all come together and
Yeah,
mixing it up. So uh,
Yeah, it's
totally.
pretty cool. It was kind of cool to go and like watch back on the previous stream and like read the live chat and just kind of like the interaction amongst people. That was kind of cool to see.
yeah, it was super cool, and it was an awesome live stream. Thanks for coming on, guys. It was a ton of fun, and I by popular
Yeah, that was fun.
demand,
It was a
we have the
blast.
second one today, and we have a pretty good topic for everybody. It's one of those topics that I think comes up on everybody's trip every single day at least once, and that's poop. That's pooping in the trail on the woods. You're talking about usually you're talking about food or poop. I find when you're hiking, and that's the topic of the day. As you probably guessed by the thumbnail of crap tales from the trail, we're going to be telling our favorite poop stories, uh, shooting the shit, if you will, and having a good old time. And we're actually bringing a special guest on today as well, so it's not just going to be us three talking. In a little bit here, we'll bring on someone else that if you follow backpacking and YouTube, you'll have probably seen him around. He has some of the flashiest thumbnails in the business, that's for sure. So that's exciting. So stay tuned for that. But first up, I think Jesse, you're pulling something out to show us right before the show started, and you ran and grabbed it. I don't know what's happened with that, but you.
Oh, poop. We were talking about poop trowels, and my first ever poop trowel I've upgraded since was this bad boy right here. The most masculine looking poop trowel you've probably ever seen. But I got it for 25 cents at a dollar store, and it weighs
That's
1 ounce. And I thought, why go and spend, like whatever it is, $15 for the ace of spades when you got one of these bad boys? I mean, this is I don't know, trail cred. Do I get some trail cred for this?
Did it work? Were you able to dig like your? That's flexy, man.
That might answer the question.
I think you get a little bit of trail cred for just being like ballsy enough to carry that thing.
Yeah.
It works really well on like some soft ground, but anything that's super rocky and really hard to dig through, obviously not. So that's why I have upgraded to an aluminum actual. This is the UST, so just a cheap. I think it was like $5 or $8 or something like that on Amazon. So, anyways, but I thought I'd share that with you guys.
Maddie kind of told me what you're grabbing, so I went and grabbed my trowel too, because I figured if we're showing trowels, let's just whip them out.
But the question is mine bigger than yours?
Yours is bigger, but mine's harder. Oh.
Dude, I love that's the Vargo, right? I was actually looking at the Vargo because it's got the
Yeah.
serrated edges. I'm not gonna go there with the serrated edges comment, but
It's got these the ridges here, and definitely good for cutting through roots. I don't know about you guys, but I find in the Canadian Rockies where we are, there's just roots everywhere, and like having the serrated edges to saw through just makes it so much easier. That's for sure.
yeah, totally.
I legit don't have one. I don't carry a poop trowel. I am more than willing to just pick a stick up off the ground.
This doesn't surprise me at all.
No.
Maddie's like the
I
most
don't know,
light, but nah.
I don't
just use my
like-
fingers.
But like everyone like Justin talking about like breaking through roots and stuff. I hear so many people talk about that, and I've never had a problem just using a stick. So like I don't know if like you guys are just picking the worst ground possible, or if I'm just lucking out and picking the best ground possible. But I don't know, like a stick's always worked.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I try to get some cover like behind some shrubs, and I'm usually like next to next to like a tree or some sort of shrubbery because I like to do the old like hang on and lean back. So I think there's just usually a lot of roots where I am and where I'm trying to poop. So I don't know. Yeah, you must have the squat really dialed in and able to just not be by vegetation in order to make that work.
I don't know. Like I've pooped in the middle of a field before. It's you just stand there and squat. It's I don't know.
You should do a video,
doable.
Maddie. You should do a video on how to poop in the woods. I don't know if you already have. You have a lot of videos. There's probably something close to that in the backlog.
I don't actually. That's one road I haven't traveled down yet, but maybe.
Yeah, just so everyone knows, I'll post links to Maddie's channel, Jesse's channel in the video description. So if you want to go check them out, awesome channels, and you can go click those links. Same with our special guest. That'll be down there as well after the live stream. So definitely check it out. Sub to their channels. Great guys, awesome videos. I know I look forward to every time one of their videos drops. So definitely do that. But segue. I'm gonna try and segue as best I can during tonight. So that was my goal of the live stream was good segues. We're gonna bring on our special guest soon if he's ready to go. I think I'm getting the horn, so I think we're good. Let's
bring him on.
What's up, boys?
Yeah.
What is going on, my dude?
How does everything sound? I had to do a quick change of location because you guys were cutting out a little bit there. So I just dipped into my roommate's room. He's not home right now. So hopefully he doesn't get home because he's going to be very confused about why I'm talking about poop in his room by myself. But yeah, that was the goal. So far, so good since I moved in here. So. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it, guys. I'm a big hiking nerd. I've been hiking since I was like 15, 16 years old. I'm 24 now, and done the long trail over here in Vermont. I'm from Vermont a couple times. I've done the Appalachian Trail. It's probably like the most notable thing, and then a bunch of other stuff just around the Northeast. Done a lot of peak bagging and also content. Yeah, YouTube. Kyle Hates Hiking. Pretty sarcastic. Big fan of making just ridiculous thumbnails, honestly. And I'm also the host of a podcast called Trail Tales as well. So just interview mostly through hikers. I've talked to other types of hikers as well, but I'm mostly through hikers. And so that's like a weekly thing as well. So yeah.
That's how I first found you, was actually through your podcast. I was listening to some of your podcasts, and then you started getting suggested and blowing up on YouTube. And I didn't even know that was you. So I started watching some of your videos, and then I went to your channel, and that's when I saw you upload the podcasts to your YouTube channel too. And I was like, oh, this is Trail Tales guy. I didn't know he hated hiking.
I do.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, that's funny. I appreciate you listening. And I took the last 2 weeks off the podcast. Actually, it was like the first time I've skipped like a couple weeks here and there since I started it in November of 2018. 2 weeks, like, I'm great about it. So I'll, for anybody, if anybody watching actually listens to that stupid podcast I have.
So your podcast, that's like you're on Spotify, iTunes, all that fun stuff too, right? I think I've only come across you on Spotify, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Anywhere you can listen to a podcast, or I hope anywhere you can listen to it. Come on, if anybody has a podcast app that Trail Tales is not on, then please let me know because I'm slacking. But I think I have everywhere covered except for YouTube. I don't post them all on YouTube. I only post the ones that I have that I talk to other YouTubers because that seems to be the only ones that people actually want to watch on YouTube, at least so far. I uploaded one that was just like wasn't like a YouTuber or a content creator, and people were kind of shitting on me for it. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll just stick to the Darwins for YouTube.
I'm pretty curious as far as like, do you get a lot of crap for like, because you're pretty like satirical in your
Oh, yeah.
like on your channel, and there's a lot of tongue in cheek kind of thumbnails and comments, and do you get a lot of people just taking you super seriously and just coming at you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys like get shit too. Like everybody, I don't know if I'm supposed to swear. Sorry if I'm not, but yeah, everybody gets like a little bit of that if you post on YouTube. I think with me, just because I'm like a little bit more edgy, especially with the thumbnails and the titles and stuff, like people definitely feel like they can be a little bit more mean to me because like I'm kind of being like a little bit of a jerk in my videos as well. So I think then again, people who post like mean stuff on the internet are usually just kind of jerks anyways. But if there's anyone out there who would normally refrain, they don't feel like they need to with me. So I do get a little bit of that, but most people get it, you know, like most people are fine. And I think that's why, you know, I've been lucky enough to have like a pretty decent amount of growth since I started about 6 months ago. So people are cool about it for the most part. And obviously, you know, you guys are, so I'm pretty stoked about that.
It's awesome. I think I saw you chatting on the Shill Brothers live stream, or they had a chat with you, and you're talking about how, and they were talking about how it's kind of a different format for the backpacking world. It's definitely a unique form of content where you're poking fun at things and just being a little bit more like less. It like, let's just call a spade. Like the backpacking YouTube world is a lot of dads going out and YouTubing, and it's definitely a different demographic that you're bringing to the table.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the goal. You cut out there a little bit, but I think I caught the gist of what you're saying. Excuse me, what you're saying. And like, yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm only 24. Like I just graduated college, like, you know, 2 years ago. I was in a fraternity. Like I'm just kind of like a goofy, like kid still almost. And I've just like been watching so much backpacking YouTube, and I was like, no one else like makes fun of this culture and like makes fun of all this stuff. And I'm like, there's so much funny stuff that could be like said about this. Like trail names like are just ridiculous. That's an example I used the other day when I was talking to a Darwin on his stream, like funny stuff. And I was like, nobody really like makes fun of it. So I'm just going to make the kind of videos that I would want to watch, I guess. And I already had a little bit of practice, just like being comfortable, you know, talking about stuff from Trail Tales. And so I was like, screw it. Like, I'm just going to try to make what I want to watch, basically. And, you know, for the most part, people have enjoyed it so far. Some people haven't, but that's all right.
I think when you love something, you should be able to poke fun at it. And I think, you know, that's probably why some people get defensive, because on the flip side, when you love something, you get defensive about it. But it also shows that you're in the midst of something when you can laugh at it from within.
Exactly. And people, that's honestly such a good point, because like I'm pretty much just going to say what you just said. But yeah, people are, I've thought about this a lot. Like people are just so like, especially like thru hikers too, I feel like are so like involved and so dedicated to everything that for some folks, it can be tough to kind of take a step back and just realize how ridiculous it is to be hiking thousands of miles wearing like a Hawaiian shirt and short shorts. So I don't know. That's, it's like, there's a lot of material there. I don't know. I'm sure somebody else is probably going to start like doing similar things to me and probably do them way better. So it's only a matter of time, but I'm going to try to ride this wave as long as I can.
Jesse might,
there's an idea there.
I'm all about it, man. There's plenty of stuff to make fun of.
So just to kind of talk about, since we're doing tales about poop, but really anything goes. The topic was inspired by your podcast, merging with the topic of your thumbnails, where you talk about crap a lot and that kind of thing. So at the end of our last live stream, Jesse, Maddie, and I were trying to figure out a topic, and just all those different parts of your online life kind of merged together into this idea. But
Yep.
I guess just to keep on topic, do you have a story that you can share with us about poop? Whether it's happened to you, whether it's happened to someone else.
Yes. Yeah, so I have like I was saying before we started the live here, it's honestly not even that funny of a story. I've actually never told this story before. Actually, I told it like an hour and a half ago when I was talking to my friend in preparation for this, but I don't know. it's more just embarrassing, like, because I definitely could have prevented it. Like, I was being stupid. But anyway, so I basically got caught taking a shit while I was on my through hike, and it was like it was the kind of thing where I'm sure, you know, people watching and listening that have done through hikes know, like, that does some pretty gnarly stuff to your body sometimes. And so I was already dealing with some issues. And see, that's such a vague thing. I should just say it. Like, I was freaking, yeah, anyways, see, this is
In my mind,
hard to talk
you're
about.
pooping your pants.
Yeah. It was some explosive issues. I was close. And so anyways, it was kind of an emergency situation. I had just got into camp, and it was a pretty crowded, well, for like a hiking trail, crowded area, like a pretty popular area. It was just north of McAfee Knob, actually, one of the most famous spots on the AT. And I really needed to go. There must not have been a privy at this place, because I would have just gone there, but I had to go like find somewhere real quick. And so I'm going to try to describe this as accurately as I can. There was like a trail down to the water source. And so I was like I think I was getting water when I was like, okay, this has got to happen. So obviously I wasn't going to like go near the water, but the trail like kind of continued away from the water source, like not back up towards the AT and the campsite, but in a different direction. It looked like kind of not very heavily used. It wasn't like marked like an official trail or anything like that. And so I just kind of like dashed down there a little bit. And I thought, I don't remember how far I went. It was like a decent ways, and I thought I would have been like good. So I instead of like completely bushwhacking away, I thought I was just on this like abandoned trail that no one would be on. And so I pretty much just like posted up and started doing my thing, you know, just not in the middle of the trail, but like just on the side of the trail, like just into the woods there. And sure enough, dude, I'm like, oh man, I'm like bent over. And then I look up, and there's like a guy, like he like turned around right after I like looked up at him.
Did you guys make eye contact?
The locking eyes. Did you guys lock eyes?
He wasn't like close, like super close to me to see what was going on, but it wasn't like a, oh hey, what's up kind of thing. And then the worst part was I had to like go back and like pass him to get back up to the campsite. And thank God that he wasn't a through hiker. So he was just like a weekend hiker. So I never would see him again after this. It wasn't like someone I had met already, like someone I knew, but that was pretty bad. And like I said, like it was stupid of me. Like I really had to go. So that's why I wasn't as careful as I should have been with my site selection. But if I had just walked into the woods a little bit further, like you're supposed to do, then it wouldn't have happened. So not super proud of that one. Like I said, I never told that one, but now it's on the internet for everybody to see. So
here we are. Yeah. when you have to go, you have to go. I think most people have probably been, like you said, like backpacking does some crazy things to your insides, and some days it just doesn't end up well.
Well, one of my stories is actually about getting caught in the midst of it, and this was even with a privy. So I mean, sometimes even then, it's just part of going in the backcountry. Somebody's going to watch you do your business at some point or another. But I actually had a buddy of mine, and he's kind of really germ focused and whatnot, so he just does not sit on toilets, like nowhere. He doesn't sit on toilets anywhere. And so he's in the backcountry, and there's this privy. And you know how privies are. They have like a little bit of a back to them, but he just hovers above the toilet and does his business. And the way that the path to this privy is that the path comes from behind. So he's standing there hovering, but fully exposed above this privy, and he hears this crack from behind him. So he like looks over his shoulder and locks eyes with this guy who's just standing like middle of the trail, mouth jawed open, because he's just watching this guy who's like spreading his butt cheeks, dropping deuces into the privy, and he's like, and he just turns and runs away.
Yeah, you need to have good approach trails to those things. Like, just asking for help. And Kyle, I have a question for you. It just popped into my mind. I've heard recently, I don't know where it was. Maybe it was from Darwin's channel, about how there's like these areas on the AT where there's like designated poop zones, and like was that something that you were encountering, where like you'd go and there'd just be this field of toilet paper, and you just try and find
No, it's like I'm pretty sure it's only in like very specific parts of the trail. Like the vast majority of the trail just has privies. But I seem to recall in like maybe in Tennessee there was some. Don't quote me on this. I know it was somewhere down south. There was like some law or something about privy. Like I don't even know what it was, but I do remember a couple shelters in like Tennessee, I think it was, that instead of having a privy, they just had like a designated like pooping area pretty much. And so honestly, I stayed the hell away from that. I wasn't about to go, walk into the minefield and try to navigate that, but they definitely exist. They're not super common, but yeah, I guess they're out there apparently. I don't know what it is. If anybody knows, like, let me know, because that was pretty bizarre, but I just tried to avoid them, like I said.
Yeah, I don't think I've never encountered that before, where there's a was it like did you encounter, like, were they flagged or like fenced? Like I just can't even imagine.
There was just like, there's only one. I know there's more than one, but only one that I like remember specifically, and it was just like a sign that just said like, I don't even remember what the term was, like designated something area, and then just like a, kind of like a trail you'd see that goes off to the privy, but instead it goes over to the, like, I don't know what would make up like the boundaries, I guess, like, because I didn't use them. Like, I don't really know how that works, but I don't know. You'd have to ask someone from Tennessee. I just remember that one specifically was in Tennessee, but I'm pretty sure they were kind of all concentrated down there. I don't know.
Yeah, that's something like that really got me like curious about like how that whole system. It seems like a terrible system. Like, rather just dig a hole in the ground and put a little shack above it or something, like whatever you need. But hopefully that's not a trend.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's starting to take hold.
Hopefully not.
So I'm a little confused as to what you guys are saying. You're saying there's just like an open, they just designate a space, kind of, not so much a hole.
Yeah. And like I said,
sorry,
they're really just not like that common. I don't know how many there are, so I was just able to avoid them pretty much. But I think that's how it is. Like, it's just a designated area that you go. And I'm assuming you're still supposed to bury it and stuff, obviously. Like, I bet you some people probably just take that as just go shit, like, on the ground over here, and it doesn't matter. But I don't know.
Well, you get that to a certain extent up here in some of the Crown Land areas. Matt, you've probably encountered these areas where it's just at a campsite, it's kind of an unofficial, that's where you do your business area, and you can tell there's like disturbed dirt all around, and you just try to dig a hole that somebody else hasn't already dug.
You just have to read the ground.
Yeah, like for the most part, yeah. I mean, you hope it's like that. Like I've come across a couple. Kinglet Lake, the last time I was there in the summertime, was really bad. There was one spot that, like, it was probably about the size of my living room.
Oh, wow.
And it was just like, all you could see was just toilet paper everywhere.
That's disgusting.
Oh.
It was like, it's like people, like, I don't know if this is a thing in the States, but what I've noticed up here that people are starting to do is, like, instead of digging a hole, because like you guys had mentioned, I guess, like, the ground can be tough to dig at times, they're just stacking rocks on top of it. That's become a thing now, I've noticed.
I've never seen
that.
I know there's in the Alpine, there's the smear method that you
yeah.
Well, I'm also known for kicking fucking cairns over when I see them. So like, that's how this happens, how the discovery happens. You kicking over cairns and you find it.
You're that person?
You put your foot in some poop. Is that's what happened there? That's why you're so upset about it.
No. My foot didn't go in it, but I saw it. My foot went over it.
That's karma. That's what that is.
Yeah,
Kicking over a cairn and you're stepping some poop.
No. Okay, like we're talking like these are like off trail. Like there's no reason that you would be going this way off trail. Like it's just a pile of rocks in the middle of freaking nowhere that's not marking anything except for a poop.
Yeah.
That's fair. All right. Jesse or Maddie, before we let Kyle go, because he's a busy man. I think you have a video dropping tomorrow, you were saying, right?
Yeah, I try to. My unofficial upload day is Monday. I don't like hold myself to that, but for the most part, I've only missed like one pretty much since I started. So yeah, you guys are gonna love the thumbnail for tomorrow's video if you like the other thumbnails, because it's definitely pretty edgy and pretty red. So
the red just makes it all pop. Like, I don't.
Dude, I love the thumbnails, man. Like I spend so much time on the thumbnails, and like I think they're just like, just the concept is so funny. Just like me pointing at like a Nalgene bottle. This is like crap. Like that's just, I just think that's like so stupid and so funny. So I love the thumbnails,
that's awesome.
man.
Well, thanks for coming on, and definitely appreciate it. And yeah, guys, go check out Kyle's video that drops tomorrow. Especially you'll see the red thumbnail background and probably some sort of face going on, I guess.
Oh yeah. Hey, I really appreciate it, guys. It's been fun. Seriously, like genuinely so thankful for you guys and all the other creators that have reached out to me, because I haven't really been doing this too long. So much appreciated.
Yeah, man. Keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, definitely need some new faces, new kind of content out there to push the boundaries of backpacking. So definitely awesome to have you in the community.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty. Talk to you later,
Thanks,
Kyle.
guys.
All right.
Alrighty.
And then the three amigos back. Yeah, you guys are stuck with us now.
So before we keep going, I just want to toss something up to the people in the chat here. We were kind of talking before a little bit about poop trowels. What do you guys do? Do you guys bring a poop trowel when you go on backpacking trips? Do you guys bring a stick? Like, you just pick up a stick off the ground, or
do you use a sandcastle building
or an industrial saw?
Yeah, that'd be cool to see what people say.
Seeing what everyone else uses. I know there's probably just as many ways people poop as there are trees in the forest.
Yeah, technique is a big one. I was even thinking, like, if you opened up, that's a video that I was thinking about doing one of these days, is the different techniques for pooping, because I had always done it one way, and then recently some buddies of mine were like, no, man, that's not how you do it. You have to do it this way. And then sure enough, it was the superior method. So now I have a new poop technique.
You should share that. I want to see that video, Jesse. Get on it.
Yeah, maybe next year.
if we're lucky.
If you're
All right.
lucky.
I've been looking at this picture. Like I think I asked all of us to kind of prepare a couple stories for today, and I've been staring at the picture that related to my story for the last 15 minutes, and I just need to tell this story. So just gonna jump
go
right
for
into
it, man.
So hopefully you guys can see this, and there's a really interesting story that goes with this picture. There's a lot going on, and this was on a trip on the West Coast that myself and some friends did. I'm not going to give too many details because I was told that I would get in really big trouble if the person involved was identifiable based on my story today. So I'm trying to do my best here. And so we're walking on this shelf by the Pacific Ocean, and this is day 2. So we're still getting used to how, like, what their bodies are doing, what their schedule was for pooping. And as we're walking along this ocean shelf, one of the people, I'm not going to identify the gender, had to poop, and we're like, all right, yeah, just go poop over there. And while she's going poop, I blew it. I'm already starting to give away details. As she's going poop, we all kind of talk, like, whisper and talk about how we can mess with her, because this was like her second backpacking trip. She's never been on the West Coast backpacking. All she's kind of heard about was like things with wag bags and how leave no trace and all that kind of stuff. So when she comes back, we're like, where's your bag? And she's like, what are you talking about? We're like, you have to take out your poo. It's either in an outhouse or you have to take it out with you. And she's like, no way. And I don't know how there's 6 other people there, and we all managed to keep a straight face. We're like, no, you have to go and get your poop and bring it back and then dispose of it in an outhouse. So she grabbed this plastic sandwich bag and went back and grabbed her poop.
No, that's what that image is. I didn't see the plastic bag at first.
Oh. You guys are mean. That's
is
good.
so
And that's why
good.
everyone's like everyone. This picture's taken right before everyone was just like all rolling on the ground laughing because that was just pure hilarious. She was a really good sport about it. She went and put it back in a hole, but it was so funny. Just like her walking up to us, super like proud of herself and happy, and be like, "Look, guys, leave no trace." And we're like, "You didn't have to do that."
So did she not tell you guys she was going to go pick it up? She just kind of like conversation went on. She walks away and goes and fixes her problem that she thought she made, and then comes back being like, "I solved
what
it."
it was. Like super, like so proud, and her boyfriend's just standing there looking
That's
horrified.
amazing.
Yep.
That is hilarious.
That was one of the funniest things I've ever seen on backpacking trips. It was just I was on the ground rolling, peeing my pants. It was pretty hilarious.
Well, I mean, that's not quite the same, but just out of curiosity for you guys, I know I brought it up in the pre-discussion, but also even for people on the chat, has anyone used, I just got my first wag bag. This is my Biffy bag. Have you guys ever used one before or been someplace where you needed to? And that's for anybody in the chat too.
I haven't used one. No.
Oh, okay.
No, never.
Justin?
Never used a wag bag. I had a tentative trip planned for down south in wag bag land, but that got canceled, so no more. I don't know. You'll have to let us know, Jesse. I feel like you have an entire series that's coming out of this.
Oh, yeah. You should do it.
You should definitely how to poop in a wag bag. The most like the best way to poop in the woods. I think people these are questions that people want answered, and they want to know how to do these things because I don't know about you guys, but like I think we've all probably taken a lot of new backpackers backpacking, and I think one of the number one concerns is pooping.
Yeah, definitely. It was for me, totally.
So it's like,
Yeah, a lot of people are concerned about that one. I mean, like we're pretty lucky. A lot of the places in the Rockies. I mean, even in the Plews lands up here, you get the green throne toilets at the very least. So you got something to go on. But I mean, yeah, there's some genuine concern for people. Like, where are you gonna go? Like, I mean, I've been out with people on 4-day backpacking trips, and they never went once. They just held it the whole time.
I won't lie. If it's like the last day and a half, sometimes I'll just hold it. But I mean, I've gotten better now. But when I first started, that was for sure.
I don't know if you guys watch Jeremiah Stringer's channel or him and JK's Hiking's podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, love him.
Jeremiah, that level Kentucky guy. He's just straight up. He will hold his poop before he'll use a wag bag, and he's put it out there to the world. He said if he is in a situation where he needs to use a wag bag, he'll just take Imodium until he's back into civilization. If it's 2-3 days, no big deal. That's his approach.
Until he's back in a hospital, more like.
Yeah. I feel like that's where I would end up. Like, I don't think I've ever I've never not pooped for like 3 days straight. That's a lot.
No. So do you, bringing that up, Justin, do you guys, does it change for you guys when you get into backcountry? Like I personally, I stay pretty regular. I am like, within the first 45 minutes of being up in the morning, I got to go do my business. And then I'm good for the rest of the day. But that's like, I don't change.
I wake up, I chug a liter of water, take 100 milligrams of caffeine, and then I eat breakfast, have a couple of Metamucil pills, which are key. That's a life hack right there, is take some Metamucil pills. And then I am usually within 15 minutes after dinner going and then hitting the trail on a empty intestine.
I'm definitely an end of the day kind of guy, which, yeah, no, I wouldn't say I'm like super regular, but it's pretty consistent.
Do you ever get like poo stress? Like if you're not making time and then you're like, all right, I got to get to camp because I have 40 minutes before this is happening. And then all of a sudden you're pooping next to the trail and the guy's making eye contact with you. And
Yeah, for me, I actually had that. I had to hike out from Carnarvon Lake last year and get to my car so I could drive to home/work. I had to head straight into work, and I had like a pretty tight time limit, and so I actually had to make the question of, okay, is holding my poop and hiking 10 kilometers going to be as efficient as the time it takes me to stop and go off the trail a little bit, poop, and then hike faster the rest of the day? So that's the decision I ended up making. So that's about as stressful as it gets for me.
Yeah, that's because I've been there too, and that's a really tough call. And like, what's your deciding factor? Like, have you gone both ways, where you're like, all right, we're stopping on the side of the trail, or we're pushing through?
My first ever backpacking trip, down at Forks, we did a day hike up to Turbine Canyon and then back down from Turbine Canyon. And man, the last probably half an hour was just prairie dog in it, and I could feel it coming. And so, but it was my first backpacking trip, so I wasn't really comfortable with the idea of just squatting in the woods yet. And they had an outhouse at camp, so I just waited, and it was like we were walking downhill, and every step was excruciating. And so I actually, when we finally got to camp, I ran to the outhouse, opened up the door, sat down, and then realized I didn't have my toilet paper on me. So I had to get up, run back to camp, grab my toilet paper, and back to the camp. So that was my story with holding it. Then my story, like I shared earlier in Carnarvon Lake, of deciding to go early on in the hike and then hike the 10 kilometers on an empty gut. That was the right decision. It's so much easier hiking when you don't have to
I think
poop.
it's night and day. Like I feel like it can it can break a trip having to hold in a poo, I think. Yeah. That sounds pretty brutal. Have you ever had any close calls, Maddie?
I've had a few. I don't generally poop while I'm on trail. I tend to do my business, like I said, in the morning before I go. But every now and then a little, like midday surprise sneaks up on you. It happens.
That sounds so delightful.
When that sneaks up on me, it's basically like my pack hits the trail immediately, and I'm like full sprint into the trees until I don't see the trail anymore, and then it's just emergency situation.
In those scenarios, are you like, because you didn't have a trowel, are you like pooping to the ground, digging a hole with a stick afterwards, and then just like poking it into the hole? Is that what's going on there?
Yeah, or if you've got time and it's kind of available, you can kind of poop on a piece of bark. That works. Then you can kind of transfer it to your hole. That works too.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, the aiming is sometimes pretty difficult with a little cat hole. So that's actually a real killer hack. I like that idea.
Good. The Metamucil will help with that, Jesse.
Yeah, the bark trick works well.
Oh really?
You won't be just like Old Faithful, just.
It helps with aiming. It just gives like a little crosshairs underneath my.
It's like
buttocks.
having a life hack. It's all of a sudden everything's easier. Like things just come out easier. You have a bullseye for the cat hole. The cat hole never seems to fill up. It's just all around a beautiful thing. So definitely check out those Metamucil pills.
I definitely will.
Wait,
That's
Linda
hilarious.
Y has a question here. Anybody got lost, turned around, going poop, and had to find the trail again? Has that happened to you guys before?
I can't say I've ever got lost. I've ended up back on the trail, but like in the opposite direction of my pack than I thought I was. So like I ended up walking away from my pack a ways before I realized, and then had to turn around. But like never really fully lost, no.
Yeah, I think the most that's happened to me was I definitely got a little turnaround. I can't remember where, but it was pretty turnaround, and I couldn't figure out which direction was which. But I was hiking with a friend, so I just called out, and he was like, "Yeah, we're over here." And then I was heading the totally wrong direction. But even then, like if I would have kept walking, like you said, Matt, I would have hit the trail. I just would have hit way further back, like probably 50 to 70 meters or whatever that is in yards. I guess yards away from where I had gone off trail. What about you, Justin?
I don't think so. I don't know. I'm maybe I should have more. I should be a bit more bashful, but like I feel like I step like a meter off the trail and just like go, and if someone walks by, try and make eye contact with them and make them uncomfortable. I don't know.
You're just like, let's make this.
If something's gonna be weird, let's
work
make
in
it
the trail.
Weird. Let's just go full out. Like, let's just go for it. But yeah, it's.
Oh man, that reminds me of a totally unrelated No, never mind. Never mind. It's not backpacking related, but worst pooping story I've ever heard. But
well,
yeah,
I kind of want to hear this now.
Okay, I know. It was one of those moments where I said something and needed to stop talking earlier on. Okay, so there's this. I don't know this guy, but he's a friend of mine. He was like a mentor in my life at one point, and he knew this guy who was at this like public function that was in a field, and he was the main keynote speaker. And he could feel like right before he had to go on stage that he had the runs and he was going to have to go. So he like whispers over to like the MC or whoever was like kind of hosting him, is like, I got to go to the washroom. And they're like, you can't, you're on right now. And he's like, oh, okay. So he went on, he like made his address way shorter because he's like, I can feel this coming out. This is horrible. And so he just shortened everything up and was just made it to the point and then ended and was planning on getting off the stage and just heading straight to the porta potties that were on the side of the field. And he gets off the stage and then everyone wants to do this like greeting line. So they actually like line up this line to meet him. And he like, gets like 2/3 of the way through the line and he's like, I can't. And he just bulldozes to the porta potties. And he walks to this one porta potty that says it's vacant. And it's, one of those moments, like one act, opens the door, backs in, drops his pants and unleashes. And then hears from behind him, excuse me? And it's a woman who didn't lock the porta potty door, and he has just...
That's the worst story I've ever heard in my life.
Long story short, they end up getting married. Yes! They've been married for like 20 years or something like that, my mentor said.
That's romantic. That's love. For all you single people out there,
I don't know.
That is love for sure.
So, how did you guys meet? Well, yeah. Oh man, I just can't get over that.
I feel like you've broken a lot of barriers at that point. Like I can kind of see it. It's just like, all right, you've pooped on me. Well, I feel like there's not gonna be a lot more uncomfortable scenarios in our life moving forward.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's awesome. That's an amazing story.
Yeah, Articus says they couldn't not get married after that.
he literally just fell into my lap.
Fell in my lap.
I really hope someone said it at the wedding. And like, if you know the story, it's hilarious. If you don't know the story, it sounds like cute romantic. That's
yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Jesse, I have a video from you here that I'm gonna pull up.
Right. This is the nicest outhouse I've ever seen.
1 second.
Roll.
There's audio involved. All right, let's grab this. I'll see if I can get the audio going so people can hear what you're saying. All right. Here's Jesse with the nicest outhouse that he's ever seen.
I just found the nicest little outhouse ever. Come on inside. Look at this. It has a little window. And look at that view. And it even opens.
That's an awesome view.
What?
It actually had this whole pulley system that would keep the window open. You could sit on the can and pull this rock down, and the window would just open automatically. And it was so stellar. They had like urinals off to the side. The whole thing was this little cabin-styled outhouse. It was the nicest outhouse I've ever seen in the backcountry. It was in Yoho. That was Twin Lakes Chalet's
Oh, okay.
outhouse.
I'm trying. Yeah, I definitely did not
Yeah.
get that outhouse.
Not Twin Lakes, Twin Falls. Twin Falls.
Really,
Sorry.
I missed that outhouse. I did not get. Like I did that trip last summer, the Yoho Loop, and I did not see this outhouse. I'm gonna have to go back and check that one out. Maybe camp inside, spend a weekend, bring my girlfriend. It'll be a nice little romantic getaway.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, this is like who I'm just gonna stay
Apparently.
here for the night.
Outhouses are the place to find love. So you heard it here first.
This one actually had a little balcony even. That's right. It had this balcony that you could walk in front of, but it was lower than the window, so nobody could see in, but you could actually stand in the front. I mean, technically speaking, the guy could be pooping behind you, but you would have no idea.
Well, you need that those boundaries if you're going on a weekend getaway, and someone needs to go on the balcony while the poop's going on. So you don't want to break those barriers too quickly unless you don't.
That you and me, Justin, that will be our first hike together.
So we're gonna be we have about 10 minutes left. Just gonna keep this under an hour. If anyone has any questions out in the chat world out there, get them in. We'll try and answer our questions the best we can, and get those in. There's a little bit of a delay between the live stream and the chat, so I'm just gonna shoot that out to you guys now, and if the questions start rolling in, we'll address them. In the meantime, I want to throw it to Maddie for a poop story.
Mm-hmm. Oh, poop stories. I honestly, like I said, like I don't really have like a ton of really funny ones. I've never really had any like I guess very few somewhat humorous poop stories on trail. On my 2017 North Boundary trip, we were stopped for like kind of a midday break, and it was me and my friend Charlene were at the back of the pack, and I just kind of had one of those moments where I felt like my guts twist up a little bit, and I kind of looked at Char and I was like, "Can you guard my pack?" She's like, "Okay," and I dropped my pack and I go booking it off into the trees, and I don't know, I was maybe 200 or 300 meters off trail or whatever, and I'm doing my business, and as I'm doing like the dig my hole, and I'm like squatted beside this tree, and I'm like hanging off the tree kind of thing, and I kind of hear this little beside me, and I kind of look over and there's a freaking grouse, and like it's 4 to 5 feet beside me, just like looking at me. Please don't, just don't do it, and it just kind of like it walks around, and it like walks about 2 feet away from me. And I'm like just trying to be really still as I'm like hanging on to this freaking tree, because I know if this thing pops up, it's going to scare the crap out of me, and I'm probably going to fall into my hole. And it does. It pops up, and I'm like so psyched up for it because I'm watching it, and I'm like, you're going to freaking pop up. I know you're going to do it. You're going to do it, and I'm going to fall. I know I'm going to catch myself. I'm going to catch myself. Oh, no. And I step back, and like my heel catches the edge of my hole, and I go like stumbling backwards. I do this like big dramatic like backwards roll, and I end up with a face full of moss, and yeah, it was awesome.
Better moss than other alternatives.
yeah, that was my thoughts too. But that's honestly, for me, that's about as good as it gets. I just tend to have pretty uneventful poops.
No need to brag about it, Maddie. That's pretty.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying not to here.
Mr. Super Regular over here.
Like, do you think that's your diet, or just like you're just blessed with good poop genetics?
I don't know. I think it's like it. I guess I wasn't always that way. Like, I guess when I was younger, I used to be a little more sporadic, but I think a lot of it has just been like getting kind of my body schedule down. Like, I mean, I'm kind of set on the same schedule. I wake up early even on the weekends.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, I tend to just kind of keep the same like internal body clock thing going. I think that's more it than I think so anyways, but I don't know. It could be my diet too.
That coffee could help, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That gets things moving.
Usually after the first cup of coffee, it gets going.
All right. So let's see some of these questions in here. So we got how to find good crown land in Alberta and how to know when you're on it. Here's my pro tip for that is Gaia GPS has awesome maps that show where public land use zones are, wildland provincial parks are, and any other sort of land use designation. So pulling up Gaia GPS and using that to find where the different land use types are in Alberta is the way to go, I think. But do you guys have any other tips or tricks that you use?
Any of the online resources. I mean, if the Alberta government's got a really good online accessible bank for any of their Plues lands and Crown land areas, or the any of the Alberta backroads maps are fantastic for marking Crown land areas too.
Yeah, I got nothing. I'm just learning about this, so I'm definitely going to look into Gaia. I've looked into the backroads maps; those are great, but
Yeah,
looking into Gaia then.
Good delineations. All right, another one. Any opinions on the tarp tent, rainbow, double rainbow? Seems like a good solution to Justin's one-person tent problems from the last stream. So Michael, I recently watched. I think Jesse and Maddie just froze here. Oh, we got Maddie back, Jesse back. No
I'm still here. I'm just looking down.
So I looked at the tarp tent rainbow because the DCF version just got released and there's been a bunch of reviews and stats on it, and it still seems a little bit too short. In the reviews that I saw, they seem to be not putting good stack heights. Like they weren't using equipment that stacked really high, and they're still touching the walls of the tent. So it still just seems a little bit short. Potentially, I think it's only 230 centimeters long. So yeah, just I don't know. I've looked at the specs of almost every tent out there. I have a couple spreadsheets about it, and if someone has something, let me know because I'll keep searching forever. And
Yeah, I got nothing. I've got that's totally a Justin question. It sounds good.
I think your solution is called sleep in a hammock.
I think that's
right.
I've heard about these hammock things. I don't know. We'll have to check that out.
The question is, do they have bivvies that are hammock bivvies anywhere in the world?
I don't know what you're talking about.
There are like there's a couple makers that make like, well, I mean, you can get a hammock made with a thicker material. Like you could go with like a 1.7 or like a, even up to like a 2.5 ripstop, and it's thick enough.
But I definitely meant privy. Sorry.
Oh,
I meant a hammock outhouse. I mean,
I guess so. Like you could just you could like disconnect your hammock and move it out of the way, and your tarp could just act like a little outhouse.
Yeah, there you go.
Articus, send Jesse, Maddie, or myself a message on Facebook or Instagram or something. I'm sure we could send you some tips on how to start a YouTube channel. I think we've all made lots of mistakes, learned a lot, and we've definitely learned from chatting with each other. So yeah, send a message. We could probably throw some tips your way for sure.
Adam from the Big Blue Mountain has a really good question, and it was, what foods do you avoid before a trip?
Before a trip?
Like he says, Dairy Queen, he had a giant ice cream sundae the night before his first trip. That was a big mistake. Caught him mid-trail the next day.
I don't know. I honestly don't change my diet up at all before a hike. I'll kind of tend to. A lot of it just depends on who I'm with and where I'm at the night before. If like a lot of times, I mean, like Jesse and I, we both got the 4 to 5 hour drive to hit mountains, so a lot of times you drive out on the Friday and just kind of camp somewhere the night before and just do hot dogs over the fire, or stop for a pizza or something. But yeah, I tend to just eat whatever the night before.
For me, the big thing's on trail. Like I don't think I could cold soak again, just because I just can't digest cold soaked food well, so it just ends up messing me up
gross,
the next day.
Man.
It's not worth it. Like I think like people say it helps with the weight. Saving that 3 ounces isn't worth how much my insides are in turmoil the next day. So I'll hike 10% faster, not feeling like I'm about to die the entire next day.
Yeah, that's rough. I've never done cold soaking, but I can only imagine.
You do the right things, like I tried to cold soak some of my regular backpacking meals like chili. It just didn't work. If you're doing like couscous and things that are already like highly processed, then it's probably a bit easier. But I don't think you
Hmm.
can introduce like meat or anything that just doesn't really rehydrate very well.
Yeah, I find it's on the trail too. I don't find anything before trail affects me, but I had, man, I don't know what it is, but Backpackers Pantry's meals, they just do not sit well. I get the worst altitudes. You know what I'm talking about? Where you're just on trail and it's just going like crazy. And that was the meal I had just had on my first ever backpacking trip, right before I like had to run to the outhouse, and so that was just did not
Yeah,
sit right with me.
fair enough. All right, guys. I think we got most of the questions. Well, I don't know if people want
Yeah.
a round 3 of the live stream. Let us know in the video comments. This will be going on to my channel afterwards. Like I said, I'll have Maddie, Jesse, and Kyle's channels all linked in the video description if you want to go check those out. Thanks everyone so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. And thanks you, Maddie. Thanks you, Jesse.
See you guys.
I
Stole
stole
my
your
tagline. I love it.
tagline.